And welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. We're talking about Groupon ads and small businesses. We also wanted to give small business owners some general tips, things you need to know if you own your own business that might be helpful. And back on the program here again, Sonia Madison, workplace attorney, as well as Marla Brown with Youthtopia Med Spa. Thank you again for both joining me this time around on the set. So let's begin talking about some of this stuff. One of the tips that we know and we want to share with our viewers is to know your product and service. Research its cost, time to produce or perform, demand, and location, some of these things. Can you elaborate, Sonia, first?
Yes, you really do need to have not only a passion for what you do, but an appreciation for what you do. So you do need to know how much it's going to take to make the product or to perform the service. You need to know how much it's going to take in terms of time to do the product or to do the service. Also, what's the best location for your business? You don't want to just put it anywhere and then have no one come or have too many people come and you're not ready for that. And then finally, you do want to make sure you know your competitors. It's very important to know what's going on around you. And I'm sure Marlo can even speak on just the appreciating the cost and appreciating the service that you're being able to provide for your company.
Yeah, what I would add to that, Sonia, is that today's consumer is so savvy. And, you know, the options that Groupon gives them, they're easily able to compare you against other companies that may be better prepared than you. So it is vital that you understand that you are releasing a marketing campaign and that you know who your customer, your target market is, and you can carry through.
The second tip we want to share is go to your local small business administration. Tell me why that's important to do that.
Well, if you're just starting out, you really do need to know how to put together a business plan. Your SBA office can give you a mentor, they can give you drafts of plans, they can give you a structure, and they can also give you a lot of statistics and helpful hints for financing and costs. So it's just a really good resource. Instead of reinventing the wheel, it's a great place to go for people that have already started and know how to do it.
Is that something, Marla, you would recommend as well for a small business?
Absolutely. I mean, today, more than ever, you need to be adequately prepared. If you're going to be seeking funds from banks and getting attorneys involved, you really need to have a good plan of action to be successful.
And the next tip to share with our viewers is be sure to talk with an attorney, and we have one right here on the program. You obviously will have a biased opinion about that. Why is it so important to talk to people like you?
Well, it's one of those preventive things that you need to do. So many people seek me once they have an issue, but you really need to talk to an attorney on the front hand. You need to determine the best legal structure for your business. Are you want to be a sole proprietorship, limited liability corporation, a corporation? Those are just important things to know and the legal ramifications of all of that. Also, taxes are important. There are a lot of things that goes with owning the business, and you need to make sure you understand tax consequences when it comes to having your own business. And finally, it's just a good tool all around when you have contracts you want to put in place. Groupon, if you want to use them, you want to have someone to be able to look over that and tell you what your responsibilities will be. Just a great tool to have an attorney on your side.
Yeah, and I would imagine it'd be important not only for consumer-related issues that come up, but also your employees. I mean, there are issues that an attorney might be able to help you resolve or at least walk you through as it pertains to those that work for you. So.
Well, not just might, Adam. We will help you resolve, but also put in those preventive measures so they won't become issues later.
Okay, and so the final thing that we want to share with our viewers up on the screen right there is hiring practices. Tell us a little bit about why that's important and what that means.
Well, before you even hire, you need to make sure you understand those tools in place. You're going to need that eligibility requirement. You're going to need to go to the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and make sure you fill out an employment identification number. You're going to need to also talk to your state Department of Labor. They have unemployment taxes, worker compensation taxes, other taxes that you want to make sure you have in place, or even insurance to make sure you have in place to be sure you're ready once those employees come on board. And also back to that attorney, there's so many employment laws out there that you need to make sure you understand and put in those preventive measures so there won't become huge issues later.
And Marla, how would you say this process is? Is this a very convoluted and very difficult process to go through? I mean, talking about all these different taxes and things you have to be up to speed on when running a small business.
I tell you, listening to Sonia, first of all, I wish I would have known her 7 years ago. But you know, I think I was very naive getting into business, and that's a very dangerous position to be in because you don't want to have to be calling Sonia after the fact. You want to be proactive in your attempts so that you have an easier road.
And so for you, do you consult an attorney when it comes to, the taxes and things that we talked about or that Sonia mentioned?
Yes, I do. I have a couple attorneys that I consult.
Great. And so what other things would you say a small business owner should know as they begin to get started? We've gone through our list of tips, but you may have some other suggestions as well.
Well, I don't want to make it seem like I'm discouraging anyone from starting their own business. It can be a very rewarding process, but it can also be overwhelming. And so my big thing is make sure you're prepared. Don't go in there with this naive attitude that everything is going to come out within a year, you're going to have a profit, and you're going to just have a lot easier time when it comes to selling your business. There are a lot of issues that you're going to have to deal with, but it can still be fun, and I just want to encourage you to be prepared so that you can enjoy the ride.
And Marla, I would love to know what you think about location. That's one thing Sonia talked about, the importance of location for a small business. Has that, you're in Alpharetta, has that been a good spot for you for what you're doing?
It's been fantastic. And actually, on that note, location, 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 I've written a book with 3 other women business owners that talks about all these things we're talking about, what to think about when you're trying to open your own small business. So it's Opportunity Meets Motivation, and you can find it on our website as well. But I go through a lot of these things because I mentioned I thought I was naive as a business owner. I want other people to benefit from some of the mistakes I may have made in walking that road.
Can you tell us one mistake, something you would do differently if you had the opportunity?
Well, I think I would have done a little bit more investigation. You're so excited to get into it, and you think that you can conquer the world, and that's great because you need that motivation. But you really need to do the due diligence of understanding so much about your market and the cost primarily that's going to be associated with not only opening the business and establishing a brand, but sustaining the economy when it dips like it did with my business in general. I mean, we opened a year before the recession hit.
Wow.
That's something you don't easily plan into your business plan. So. And
there's a lot to be said about a business that began at that point and is still operating today. I mean, let's face it, things are a little bit different now.
They are.
Everybody's doing more with less. So thank you all both for joining us on the program. Great advice. We really appreciate you being here. And, of course, we hope to have you back on the show.
Well, thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And stay with us. When we come back, we'll have some more information and begin to wrap up the show on Groupon and small businesses and all the tips we've offered. Stay with us.